Hi, so we're really excited to have Rachel and Jodie with us today. And they are two amazing women that we spoke to recently. And they've set up a business, which is like an alternative nature curriculum. And it's called Where the Wild Ones Learn, or Where the Wild Ones Play. So, yeah, I'm going to just get over to you and get you to share some of your story with us.
Okay, so we met via a mutual friend when we were pregnant with our girls. So that would be about 8 years ago, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In November, 8 years ago. And yeah, we were just going out walking our dogs and just kind of learned pretty quickly that we had very similar interests and how we live and what we enjoy. And being outside was one of them.
And then I went back to work as a residential children's manager.
Yeah.
But I was still breastfeeding, not getting any sleep, and it was just too much pressure. So I decided to become a childminder, and my first mindee was Rachel's daughter.
Wow.
So I looked after Rachel's daughter with my daughter, and they're just best friends. They're like sisters. And then, so I was a childminder for how many years? 5 years?
5, yeah. And then I was struggling in the job that I was doing. Unfortunately, with LJ being on the spectrum and going through all of those motions, it wasn't fully supported with my job and my boss.
Yeah.
And it was like, I need to change here. And I could see what was happening at my daughter's school, where she wasn't being supported, because she was literally being held on the floor, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So she didn't run out the gates.
Oh,
and I couldn't do it anymore. And I thought, what can I do? Because I know eventually I'm going to home educate. And then I kind of came to you and were like, could I be a childminder, do we think? Could I do that?
It sounds amazing. It sounds amazing because it's born out of your own life experience, isn't it? And a lot of people that we speak to on SENDHelp is they're saying really similar things. You know, the schools aren't set up for children and young people with autism and ADHD, and there's a lot of punishment, a lot of suspensions. So so what you're doing just sounds amazing. So please carry on.
Yeah, it was definitely personal.
Yeah.
We had, but we got our allotment when the kids were 1, didn't we?
Yeah, so we started the allotment when the children were 1, before we were both childminders. So we had chickens, and we growing fruit and veg with the children, weren't we?
They literally grew up in the mud.
Yeah, they're still good down the allotment. Dig a hole at 7 years old, fill it with water, and jump in
and sit in it. And that we encourage them. We're like, take your shoes off, just you'll go for it. And I think that then extended out into the childminding, didn't it? And that's what we're about.
So we especially get chosen because we're outdoors. That we're a lot of free play. We believe that children should learn through play until they're at least 7. Like, I think that's so important. Like, if you look at other countries, a lot of countries don't even start formal education until they're 7. And like, my little boy is 4 in August and starts school in August, and we are going down the school route at the minute, but we'll see how that goes. And I just think it's so young. Like, it's just too young to start formal education. So that's why we get chosen. And a lot of parents that choose us, their children do have additional needs, so that's why they're looking for that outdoor space so they can be free and they can explore. They're
not within those 4 walls that create what people look at as issues, that they can be outside and regulate properly with movement and everything else, and they're learning so much more in that environment anyway.
And then, is it just younger children, or are you all ages?
We're just younger children at the minute, but we're starting a home ed session with our nature school, and we also do holiday sessions with our nature school, which is separate to our childminder. So with our childminder, I'm back to nature and Rachel's mucky feet. But where the Wild Ones Learn comes in is we were looking for nature studies for the children, and a lot of them were too expensive, or they use a lot of resources. So then we were just like, why don't we just write our own? So our nature studies use a lot of natural and recycled materials, so it's affordable for everyone. You don't need a lot of stuff. You can just go out and learn through the seasons, science and nature. And I think that's just the best way of learning, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're just, 2 years now? We've been doing and they're just evolving all the time. We're learning now that I'm home educating my daughter. There are more things that I want to put in or that we are starting to put in that cover a bit more of that. We're doing extended learning in the packs. We're covering learning outcomes for those that are younger as well. So we're ever evolving.
Brilliant.
I think that's great. I think coming from someone as well that got diagnosed when he was like 11, so like years and years and years ago, that sort of stuff would have been absolutely amazing. Like, even it's so good to see that sort of stuff is being recognised now and being pursued, because as I said, even both my kids, even what you're describing now, would love that. And it does. I was just saying to Sharon, this is the first holiday I've had. It's the first big holiday I've had with having my oldest here full time. But I understand that when parents say they'd rather them at home. I've never got that. I was like, you're lying. You're just trying to save face. Them kids, you don't rather them home, but you get to see, you get to grow them as a person. It's not about just what they're going to learn and not get criticised at school. But as all in the whole, he spent like the whole week with me, just like in the same room and just learning the little bits. I was thinking, oh my God, I've got through to him so much more this week than I've ever have, all the time at school. And as soon as he got back onto the Xbox like yesterday with his mates, straight away the anxiety hit, blah, blah, straight back into it. And it's going to go back. As soon as he gets to school, it's going to go downhill again. So it was great.
That's what happened with my daughter. I was having, when she got home, or even on the way home, wasn't it? Because they couldn't see it in the school. They didn't know what masking was. They actually used air quotes. They were like, not heard of this masking. And it just blew me away that, you know.
The school has a good reputation for supporting SEN. I used to be a governor there, and I can definitely say they're not very good. My daughters, they suspect she's been dyslexic since reception, but obviously they don't do anything until they're 7, but she was 7 at Christmas. And they were like, no, we're not going to do anything until she goes to junior school, because there's 2 separate schools. And I was like, no, I'm not having that. I was like, it's your job, you do it. She's turned 7, you do something. So they did, and they started teaching her differently. But I also suspect she's got ADHD. And she's struggling emotionally at the minute. She very much reminds me as a teenager. We were with my sister yesterday, and she was like, "Oh my God, she's just like you, isn't she?" I was like,
"Yeah." Either of you
got just like me, which is it's fun.
I haven't got a diagnosis, but I'm 100% sure.
Yeah,
you're 100% sure.
I'm somewhere on that spectrum as well, for sure.
Yeah. With your curriculum, so I know that when we spoke, you were saying that you were doing learning outcomes, but you're trying to be a lot more reactive to what's actually working with the children.
Yeah.
So what is it you do?
So each nature study is like a theme. So we've got like caterpillars, butterflies, we've got bee nature study. So we do, before we put it in the pack, all the activities in there we do with the children. So they've got photos of us actually doing the activities.
Yeah.
And we're honest in the packs. We're like, this didn't work. This worked instead. Yeah. Or we gave them the materials. They didn't want to do that, but they created this instead. And like we will promote that, because that's self-directed, and
they're learning something from it, for sure.
They learn more because it's their interest.
Yeah.
So and then what we're doing at the end now is for home ed, we're doing extended learning ideas. So this is what the pack is about, but if you want to go and extend your learning, here's some ideas. And for the EYFS, we've got learning outcomes for each activity under the 7 areas of learning.
Brilliant.
So I find people find that quite handy, because sometimes they're like, oh, this is just a craft, they're not learning anything. It's like, actually they are. This is what they're learning.
No, that's really good. And do children that come to you, are they, how often do they come? Do they come to you just for like one session? Do they come for so many days?
And also, are they all neurodivergent, or have you got some neurotypical kids that are in there? Or
I would say over half of ours are neurodivergent.
Yeah.
I've got a little boy who's Down syndrome. So he's 3, but he doesn't walk or talk. He can say some words, but he doesn't walk yet. But he's just amazing, isn't he? Everyone just falls in love with him. And then I've got a couple who are suspected autistic, and you've got a couple that are
suspected. But they all do the crafts and everything together, don't they?
Yeah.
They come full time. Mine are full time. I dropped to 3 days a week because I was finding it quite hard being on my own, home educating, help minding, and the other business. I was like, okay, I've got to drop a day. I need to just do 3 days a week because it was just getting too much for me. Yeah. But mine are all full time, and I'll be getting the brothers and sisters as well of the children I have.
that's good. Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
Brilliant.
And I work 4 days a week, and most of mine are full time, or they come 2 days a week minimum. And then obviously we've got our nature school as well,
Which is usually always full.
which is we have like a nature stay and play where parents come, and we cook on a fire. We set out crafts, and they can just explore the environment. So we have that on a Thursday, which is fully booked with a waiting list every time. So we're starting some more classes, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to do a SEN only session because obviously some children struggle with the amount of people, so we're going to do limited numbers.
So that'd be maximum 5 families per session, so to limit numbers. And then we do a childminder only session because obviously that's less numbers because they come with more children. And then, like we said, we're starting a home ed, we're starting a gardening club.
Yeah, a little babies gardening club.
Yeah, and then eventually I would really like to start a wild babies, so getting babies in nature like as soon as they're born. And I'm also a hypnobirthing teacher, so eventually I would like to do outdoor hypnobirthing. So we have people from pregnancy to babies to toddlers all the way up. It would be nice to just like have a whole community of just support all the way through.
And I think we were looking at doing wild women as well, so that we can support women as well. We'll do women's circles and things eventually.
We had some very exciting news on Monday. So we put an offer on 7 acres of land, back in February. Yeah. But we didn't have the money.
This was Jodie. We don't have the money, but we'll just buy it.
But I actually got our government business startup loan on Monday approved, so we now actually have the money, and we can actually buy the land that we said we have the money for.
Yep. We what's the word? Manifested it.
That's
So,
crazy.
And whereabouts are you? Whereabouts are you based?
We're in Peterborough.
Okay, I don't know.
I want to go.
I know he's oohing and ahhing everything you're saying, and I'm just.
It's in Cambridgeshire.
Yeah, I think he wants to come himself. But I mean, at some point, we would love to do that. Absolutely. And just going back to your resources, because you very kindly said that you would give a discount to any of the SENDHelp members, which is brilliant. So, we'll make sure that we put a link. And can you just say again the sort of learning packs that are available?
There's about 30.
We do an ebook each month, and what I'll do, because I'll send over one for you to have a look at, but it's going to be the new format. I've nearly finished it, so I'll send that over for you to have a look at. But what have we got? We've got
Forest School Nature Study, Rewild Your Child, Caterpillar Butterfly, Bees,
Weather.
Oh my god, I just can't think off the top of my head.
It sounds amazing.
Tools, fairies. What else did we? There's loads. We do one each month.
Yeah. We're happy to give a discount to members, and we also said that we're happy to put like some free printables and stuff
on your free bit.
On your free bit.
Oh,
we'll give some downloads and prints, like scavenger hunts and things like that to help children out in nature.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Thank you for that. That'd be amazing.
I think it sounds amazing. I was really excited when I spoke to you, didn't I? When I'd gone to see the lambs being born.
Yeah.
It was in the field, so it felt quite apt. I was like, I'm in nature. But thank you so much.
How hard has it been for you to set this all up, as in the sense of business wise? Was it easy transition? Because I can't imagine it's very popular amongst, because it's very rigid, isn't it? School systems are still some, especially down here, they don't really see homeschooling as an alternative. Did you meet any resistance or anyone, or did it pretty simple?
No, not really.
No, and I think the school even had a pack, didn't they?
The school have had some of the resources from me.
Wow.
They think they're amazing. My daughter's studying space at school after Easter, so she had a bit of homework, and I said, why don't we make an ebook? I want to do a space nature study ebook anyway. So over the last few days, we wrote an ebook, and we're going to do the activities and send it into the school for them to use. But they've been quite supportive of it. We're very lucky that we've had use of the community gardens.
Yeah.
And it's quite a community feel, and a type one's like all the same sort of people kind of visit it. Like everyone kind of, a lot of people at home ed, a lot of people who have children who've got SEN. But they're interested in the outdoor life. Yeah. Anyway, you won't get people who want to be indoors all the time coming to our sessions. So we're very lucky that we had use of that land, and then it all just kind of happened around us. It was organic. Yeah. When we started, we were literally doing them in Word, weren't we? When we look back at the packs now, it's like,
Oh my God. The content was good, but it just wasn't displayed well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
We're
sounds
not
amazing.
graphic designers.
We're slacking. That's what I'm getting from this.
What, down here?
We're slacking in what we're doing as a business.
Oh,
Like, I mean, they're doing like 10 different things. We're slacking.
no,
We are slacking. We are behind the podcast. We
No,
need to sort
I
our shit
just
out.
follow behind.
My
I'm
brain
doing
doesn't.
about
My
10
brain
different
doesn't stop.
things. Yeah, I'm doing about 10
My
different
dog.
things. I think you forget.
Yeah.
Would you say?
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. So, what do you reckon? What do you think the problem is then? What do you reckon is the problem about the main problem about like neurotypical kids compared to neurodiverse kids in school, and why neurodiverse kids would like prefer outdoors?
Well, they regulate better outside with
Yeah.
constant movement. But that's just a simple one, really. But most kids do.
Yeah.
That's my personal
Yeah.
opinion.
I do.
Yeah. And it
I
has a
do.
calming effect on their brain, so then they're able to focus and
Yeah.
you know, and these things that they're doing, it's with their hands, it's like you say, it's through play.
I just think anything that can be taught in school can be taught better out in nature.
Outside. Yeah. Everything.
And you can teach everything outside.
Yeah.
I've got it's not a conspiracy theory, but I feel like that mainstream school is spread over too long, and it's more about keeping kids regulated for that amount of time and stopping them from going out and doing stuff like in nature and developing themselves. Why does it take so much long to take what you're learning? You could learn in 6 years, I'd say. Like give or take
Yeah.
in the middle of the part of it, like take out the early years, take out the end years, just do it in the middle part. Out of school, really, I said there's not really much things I can say that you definitely need to go to school for. Maths you can teach day to day, and it's better to teaching a day to day the ones you're going to use, isn't it? Instead of the whole set of it.
But that's what we,
Even English, it's better to know what you need than it is to learn everything that you're not going to need and struggle, stress, and go through a bad time for it.
something that I can really connect to as well. So when I was teaching, it was all experiential learning, and yes, I did have learning outcomes, but usually it was that we all got back safe and nobody went in the sea and swam off somewhere, or because the kids would, and it was amazing, it was, and we were able to go out into it wasn't just there's I understand when people are working with really challenging kids and there's a lot of driving around in circles and not actually a lot of content, but I would make sure there was, and I loved it. I loved teaching like that. I loved being, even like saying about maths, you'd go shopping, you'd have a shopping list and you'd sequence things, and then you'd pay. So it was actually, really practicing life skills that they would need.
That's the one thing they don't teach you, isn't it? Life skills. Why? You go to school the whole time, you're there all them years, and they don't teach you normal functioning life skills. It's ridiculous. Or anything like mental health or how you're feeling or anything.
Even when we go into the woods with the little ones, we take measures with us and rulers, and we're like, how wide is this tree? How long is this stick? They're just learning, and they're so excited, let's go measure this one and let's go measure it. And you just don't get that in a classroom. And sit down and listen.
It's a worksheet, this plus this. There's no other way to get to it. That's it. That's how it's done. And
yeah, I think we had to take this thing about when I was about 13, but I don't think it was the same outcome. Some people are very upset with the measurements that they got. No, that's just going to be a dick. Don't go for that. But what another thing is I was going to say, my son is obsessed with bugs, and he hasn't got a diagnosis yet, but as I said, so I can flip it on the other side and saying what it's like for just a normal kid. And he has a garden. The difference between him and Calvin's very outdoorsy, but he grew up with a massive garden, and all he done, and it was COVID as well, so he had a combination of the garden and outdoors was it. And the difference between the way he looks at life is so much brighter and lighter than my older son, if that makes sense. And it's because he's coming one with nature, you can't help it, isn't it? Like you're getting you're outside, you're getting the right vitamins from the sun and stuff like that. You're getting, you're getting good dopamine because you're doing good things. You're just getting fresh air. It's good, but
we'll have to send you our mini beast.
I'm just thinking about the mini beast pack.
I've
just got to go.
I love mini beasts.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go sort out my dog. Sorry.
Okay. There's a beast. I got into a bit of a hole with it. It's a very big nature study, but we'll send you it for your little boy.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing. And do you know what as well I'm getting from you? Because I know that it did it for me. It's exciting for us as educators or teachers or childminders, because when we see that children are excited to learn, we've cracked it. And when we can see they're happy and they're not stressed because, as you just said, they're not being told to sit down, be quiet, sit still, all the things that's difficult for any child, let alone someone who's neurodivergent. It's horrible. So it's a pleasure, isn't it, to actually teach in this way.
Yeah, when I used to run the children's homes, we had an on-site school, and it was just so hard for them to like attend. The teachers were treating it like it was a mainstream school, and it's like you can't treat it like a mainstream school when you've got children who haven't been in school for ages and are struggling emotionally or have learning special educational needs, and so they just wouldn't go. And they're just like, can't we just change it up a bit? And they're like, no, this is the way we teach. And I was like, well, you shouldn't really be working here then, should you?
It's like Victorian times. It's like, have we actually moved on at all? Well, I suppose we don't get hit with
schools to produce dutiful workers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is to get them ready for factory life, which was years ago.
Just to Tesco jobs and just stuff that you don't really question and have no ambition to kind of set your own path, or it just kills your dreams, isn't it? It's very direct in what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a study that was done that was saying children are creative geniuses. A lot of them scored very high, and then as they progressed through school, it got lower and lower and lower and lower.
I can imagine that. Yeah,
they lost
it's
all of that.
Designed to do, isn't it? It's designed to do what it does. It does its job well, doesn't it? It's oppressed and not to. And, yeah.
I could talk about it for ages. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say something. I completely forgot my plan. I was going to say. Oh yeah, go back to you used to be like head of the children's home. So I used to be like a registered manager, and that's one thing I got offered them loads of times, and I no way in hell would I go anywhere near the children's home. What did you think?
I get to know all the time.
Yeah, that's my background as well. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you find? How did you find that in the way that's delivered still, and how rigid that is? Considering I'd expect it to be set up still where the things are in place, and now we're like a bit like society now. Is like, oh, they might have ADHD or they might have autism, and starting to change, but nothing's. It's going to be years before there's anything that's going to be.
In the home that I ran, I was quite lucky that I was the only home of the company in this area. Everyone else was like 2 hours or so away, so I was kind of left to run it how I wanted to run it. So that was really good. And then we worked really closely with a really good child psychologist who basically came in and was like, I only see the children once a week. He was like, what I need to do is I need to work with you and the staff so you can deliver CBT and DBT techniques to actually get somewhere. Because he was like, what's the point in me coming and speaking to them for a week? So we worked in a really therapeutic way. So we had this one child who would self-harm a lot, like it was bad, and we're using the CBT and DBT worksheets and techniques that the psychologist gave us. She managed to, like, I think it was like once a month or once every 2 months she would then self-harm when she was really in crisis. So, but when I was working at the children's homes where I was by all the other homes and all the other managers, it was kind of like, you have to run it like this and this is what we do. So yeah, it was a struggle, and there was a lot more negative behaviour and challenging behaviour in those homes than there was in the one that I ran in Peterborough, because I was kind of left to do it how I wanted to do it.
Yeah, because I find that's the thing, isn't it? It's a bit like the schools. They're set up still in a way that's setting them up to fail. Like it's just full of rules and what they can and can't do, punishments, and it's not really. I just can't see anything changing in that or the schools. Like, unfortunately, you can create what you've created to have an alternative, isn't it? But like children's homes, can't really think of much that's going to change there. But it's good to see. It's really good to see. I really want to go.
I know. You're very welcome to come and visit us.
Eventually, we would like to do something like alternative provision and have like children's homes come and attend our.
It would be amazing. I've got a young lady that I was fostering, and she went to, when I say an alternative provision, she did go to a PRU at one point. That wasn't so great, I've got to say. But she also then went to a college that's based on a farm, and she's from London. So she got experiences that she would never have or never will have probably, and she loved it. I mean, I had to take her and pick her up every day, but it was in the middle of nowhere, which I thought was great because it meant she couldn't leave.
Yeah.
So she was there for 2 days, but you know, she'd come back and she'd seen a goat being born, and then they also farmed their own pigs, and I think she was quite horrified to realise that pigs went into sausages. She was like, what? So there was all quite basic things, you know, that I just took for granted that she knew, that she learned, and she made things, because I don't know if kids still do that. So she made like a bird box and just spoke about it with pride. and it was really nice. I would pick her up and she would talk about, you know, what she'd done. So yeah, even for older, like teenagers, I still think it's a brilliant
The
way to
person
learn.
the person we're buying the land with, she's going to be opening an educational market garden, and she does quite a lot of work in schools, and she already does some alternative provision stuff. So we're kind of going to be like merging. She will have her business, we'll have our business, but we'll kind of merge together.
It flows together for sure.
And stuff, and we're going to have
That's
animals.
exciting.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So when do you get your land? When do you get your land?
Just waiting to hear back from the mortgage, because we got most of the money for the land now. Just need to hear back from the mortgage, and then I think once everything's in place, I think land completes in like 35 days.
Yeah, it's just then we have to go through the rigmarole of planning.
The planning process can take 4 to 6 months to get
God.
approved.
Yeah. Jesus,
Yeah.
planning.
But where it is, it's perfect. It's like by a river where in the summer we take the children.
Like pond dipping, don't we?
Yeah, Pondibi is like
'Cause
quite
it's not-
shallow.
No.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like the perfect location. It's great.
Oh, brilliant. Do you have to have a lot of risk assessments? Sorry, just sort of thinking.
We don't have to have any written, but then if people ask us, we'll just say, yeah, this is the risk assessment, and pull it out.
Yeah.
Because we're constantly risk assessing it all the time.
Yeah.
So
Dynamic.
that would be
Yeah.
a lot of risk assessments, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, as I say, because every new thing they do, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
being outdoors could be a risk. Yeah.
We would spend all our time writing them and not actually doing anything. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
we have the
takes
basic ones
away
around fire and stuff, don't we?
Yeah.
Where if the fire's, the fire's on, you don't go within the circle, you don't. Yeah, you've got those, but yeah, the others we just kind of do as and when in the moment.
yeah,
really.
we do
like
quite a
you
lot
say,
of them. Yeah.
Dynamic risk assessments are what we do all the time, I think, when we work with children anyway.
Yeah.
Because you have to, and you have to change and adapt things, don't you?
Yeah.
So we've actually got a garden project down here. I'm just thinking I'll have to.
Garden Gate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they do a lot of work with mental health and with adults with learning disability. And I've seen this project grow into this amazing resource. You know, when you go, I go there and it just makes me feel great.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. And all the things that they're growing, and artichokes, and then they have lots of events as well, obviously to raise money. So yeah, just give you some idea.
That sounds very similar to the community gardens that we work at, the Green Backyard.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the
Yeah.
council are trying to build 48 houses on it at the minute.
Oh,
We're trying to fight that at the
Yeah,
minute.
we're trying to fight them, protect it, and
I spent the last couple of days writing a press release because I'm a trustee of the charity. It's it's just a lot. Yeah, hopefully we'll save it.
Yeah, maybe I'll put you in touch with them, because it is amazing.
do you do anything on healthy?
we haven't. But it's something that we
I'm just thinking that
do
would
it
be
all
great
the
on
time
Friday.
anyway. But
We mainly do stuff around when we're growing the fruit and veg. We're talking about
Yeah.
the benefits of it, and obviously they grow it, they harvest it, they cook it. Like we quite often cook soups and stews and stuff on the fire, and then we talk about the benefits of the veg and stuff like that. But it's just kind of integrated in what we do.
That's what I'm
yeah,
thinking,
we
yeah.
haven't got anything specific.
I'd say that's good, because I've like poisoned my children. Well, not poison. I've told my children pretty much that it's poison to any processed food. But what that's done is now they're asking the questions like, what's in it? How do you make that? Or what do you do this? And they're starting to really enjoy. And it's almost like when I tell him what it does to him, it's almost like, oh, this is a superpower it's going to give me. Like, so it's really nice. It's really good. And do you know what? It makes such a difference. And I was saying, you had a perfect opportunity there, isn't it? The natural thing, and stop with the eating sweets and all day. But yeah, that's great.
Well, it's been amazing to speak to you both, and I'm really
guys.
excited. Yeah, and we'll do, like we say, we'll do a live with you as well.
Because then we can get the parents will probably ask the question instead of us. So that'd be good.
Yeah.
And I said a few of them. Oh, I think quite a few of them actually, especially on my Facebook. I can actually convert over if I know we're talking to you as well.
Yeah.
I'll use that to get them over. I've got kids that are not in school. It's very, 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 very common especially on my Facebook. A lot of the messages I get are the ones that are going to message, aren't they? The ones that are in desperate situations.
Yeah.
But it does surprise. So how can you? What is the difference? Like, to clear out, because some people are getting in trouble for taking their kids out of school, but saying they're home educators. But you can do that, can't you? But then somehow comes some.
It's actually the default. You sign your children over when you sign them in. The default is home ed.
So how come we've spoken to people, isn't it? And they're under real lots of pressure about keeping their kid in school, the attendance, and they're saying, I don't want to pay them in school, and they're like, well, you have to.
But this is what we've said about
they say that, but there is a group to join. I know it's another one separate, but they were, excuse me, invaluable for me, called Heifer, and it's home education for all. That their guides, the things that the schools try to push with, and the councils,
Scare tactics.
It's all scare tactics. They have no right to see their work. They have no right to do visits. They have no right to ask certain questions. You can do a report for them every year, and that is legally all you have to do.
That's great.
You don't have to do the curriculum by how the schools do it, as long as they're getting the certain areas. It really opened up my eyes. I was like, oh my God. So actually, because they tried with me as well, and it's like, oh, we'll have a meeting, and it's like, actually, no, I don't need a meeting. I've made up my mind.
Because do you know what? The pressure that puts on parents is horrendous.
Another punishment, isn't it? For having a kid that needs extra needs. It's like you're punished again, like because you can't get them into school.
Yeah.
Like,
I know if they've got EHCP, it's slightly different. Well, I don't know if it's EHCP or if they're in a school that's deemed for SEN. That's a slightly different thing. But if they are children in a mainstream school, then yeah.
Heifer's quite good in this place, aren't they?
Yeah, Heifer's got all the guides. They're really good.
Can't you can use bits of your EHCP for funding as well for home education stuff as well, can't you? Because I know some people that do that have got some of the funding.
LJ never got one.
The school said there was,
Right, it's scare tactics again, isn't it?
Because there was, no concerns with her. They had little things in place. So I don't know on that side of things, to be honest. I don't want to give wrong information.
Good conversation to be having, because parents we speak to, it is like you just said, it's like they're being punished again. And you know, when you feel like you're forcing your child to go into school and they're not happy,
and that pressure is awful, and SEND parents are already under so much pressure.
You used to just leave school crying every morning, didn't you?
Yeah, I just cry all the way home. I would, because I just leaving her like that.
Yeah,
I might. You know, as I said to Sharon today, like I might, if it gets to year 7 and he does what I think is going to happen, he's going to crash because they've just been delaying everything in primary school. I'd pull him out happily. And especially, it's nice to know now that there is places like this that are open, and even resources that you can get, and it's legal. And you know, now, I'm a bit confident now. But
he'll be driving up to Peterborough.
He'll be forward in school. I'm even with him. Yeah.
There's so much out there now to help our children.
I see lots of groups. There's lots of activity groups that I get from parents that have got no kids in school. They're like that host stuff. So like even in the holidays, they do meetups and they get out together, because that's the only concern. I think the social side to it, isn't it? But if you can keep the social side to like what you're doing is bringing into schools together, nature of things and stuff like that.
If you actually look how much time children socialise in school, though, they're told to be quiet, sit down, be quiet in class. They get their breaks, and that's it.
And they're all from the same peer group the whole time. LJ gets more socialisation now because she's out in the community, or she goes to forest school because she does go to a forest school on a Tuesday, which is a great forest school. They're all different ages, and then they're able to do the scaffolding, which you can't do when you're all the same age.
It just turns into, when you're all the same age, it just turns into a competition. Like, there's no one supporting anyone.
They've not got that development either, so they're kind of, You know, debunked that quite a bit, the socialisation thing. It is the main question, though, that everyone always asks.
That's the main thing that people say. I didn't even think of that as well, because you could have kids role modelling for once where you don't get that in school, because it's all about, again, who's the older peer group. The older ones wouldn't socialise with the younger ones, and it would just be bullying sort of any interaction. But if you got them out and they just know it, like I'm thinking of like, there'd be natural role models, wouldn't there? It just changed the complete dynamics of what that kid is to someone, or even gives him value really early on. That's really
good. What used to happen in the old times. That's what used to happen. The older children they'd all be together. You would all be together, and you would learn from. And it was natural.
We see it with the childminding, because obviously nurseries, they have a baby room and then they have an older room, but we obviously have the mixed age range all together. So we have the preschoolers almost looking after the babies. They care about them so much, and then the younger ones are looking up to the older ones, and they just scaffold each other and really, really support each other, which I don't know why nurseries have separate rooms or why schools are in age range, because they learn so much
from each other. Yeah.
Divide and conquer. They're trying to divide us. They're trying to.
Exactly. I agree with you. I agree.
It is. That's what they're trying to do. They do. Yeah. It is. It's not like they're not stupid. They're meant to be running a country. They don't know that these things ain't working. They just don't care. Like, it's a difference, isn't it? Like, they don't have to do anything yet, so they're not going to. Like, you know, till it's really, the awareness is overwhelming, then they might do something. But if it wasn't for people like you, there would be no other option. So yeah, thank you for doing everything you're doing for the kids.
Yeah. We just wanted to say one more thing on the nature studies. If there was a parent who wanted a specific topic or whatever, they can always let us know and give us enough time when we can create certain packs and stuff as well.
Yeah, because we all know about special interests. My daughter is wolves at the moment, so
can we do rats? Have you got rats one?
We have rats too, so domesticated pets would be one.
Yeah, there we go.
Do you know, on the news the other day there was, and I can't believe it came on, rat art, and there was a lady.
I've seen them.
Yeah. So what's that? Do they walk in paint? And
cool. And she said she'd say like 800, and I was thinking, because he hasn't stopped talking about rats.
I saw one do it with a paintbrush. He took the paintbrush off a guy. Have you done this before?
No,
I swear it's on YouTube. I promise you. I promise you it's on YouTube.
I've seen that as well.
I've sent it in the group.
God. Yeah, he talks about rats all the time. So yeah, it was.
I saw a very funny YouTube yesterday. It was this guy had put arms on his chickens and was holding a gun. And he was like, I'm protecting myself from the foxes. And it was just really funny. I was like, oh my God, we have to do that to our chickens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so you'll be getting a rat request book.
Yeah.
My daughter I'll probably get my daughter to do it. I'm going to get a Canva and see how she gets on.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
Sounds brilliant. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Really good. Really, really nice conversation, isn't it? It's nice to have something that's going forward and a positive conversation instead of it being not doom and gloom, but you know, it's stress, like someone's going through a hard time. It's really good to have a positive, like, this is what the world's coming to now, evolution of change, which is good.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's good.
But you are going to have to expand and franchise and get bigger and cover all across the country, I think.
Yeah.
I've already got the franchise plan in place.
Have you? She's already started the franchise plan.
Good.
Yeah.
You know, it's
when I say these ideas I want to do, don't keep them on the list. Just let me do them, because eventually some of them come through and then we'd end up with acres of land.
No, you have to buy them.
I just follow her. I just go, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I do.
Well, it's so exciting. So we're going to keep in touch because
definitely.
we want to follow your journey, and
We'll do them up live as well.
Yeah, it'll be brilliant.
Well, when we start, we're just going to say, when we stop, it's going to say about staying in a room till it finishes recording, but it only takes about a minute or two, and then it'll say when it's complete, and then come back. Otherwise, it will stop recording. We had that before, someone left too early, and it doesn't upload until you go back on.
Okay.
No worries.
Did you understand any of that? I didn't understand any of that.
What?
I didn't understand.
Well, press stop. Okay.
Right.
I'll press stop now.
Press stop. Don't leave.